Over to the UK, and one of Prime Minister Boris Johnson's top advisors found himself in a lot of hot water after breaking the government's own lockdown rules.
The Prime Minister's top advisor, Dominic Cummings, has denied doing anything wrong when he drove to his parents' home during the lockdown in March.
But where Cummings was going wasn't the issue. It's why he was going anywhere at all. Fortunately, he had a terrific excuse.
On Sunday the 12th of April, 15 days after I first displayed symptoms, I decided to return to work. My wife was very worried, particularly given my eyesight had seemed to have been affected by the disease. She did not want to risk a nearly 300-mile drive with our child, given how ill I had been. We agreed that we should go for a short drive to see if I could drive safely. We drove for roughly half an hour.
Yes, as any good optometrist will tell you, if you're worried about your eyesight but you can't make it in for an appointment, just drive around until you figure it out for yourself. For more on the Cummings scandal, I'm joined by our UK correspondent, Andy Zaltzman from London. Andy, let's start at the start. Who is Dominic Cummings?
Well, Cummings, Charlie, is one of the key cyclists in the Machiavellidrome of British politics. He is chief advisor to our Prime Minister. And when I say advisor, he advises Boris Johnson in the same way that Lewis Hamilton advises his car how to get around the track, or Ronald McDonald advises cows on how they might like to see whether they'd rather be disc-shaped rather than cow-shaped.
So he carries some power. What exactly did Cummings do?
Well, he really did just what anyone else would do who was part of a government that had just imposed strict lockdown rules, including telling people to stay home and to isolate with their families if anyone was ill, and who'd been working with at least 2 people who'd already got the virus and who had a wife who'd just fallen ill. He drove the length of the country, obviously, with his wife, child and pet virus. I mean, maybe it was to help make sure that the virus wasn't just something to be enjoyed only by the London elite. It's very egalitarian of him. He said it was his parental instinct for the safety of his child, and then because he was worried about his eyesight not being safe for driving his car back to London, he drove his car 60-odd miles with his child in it, I guess just to be on the extra safe side.
So it seems he clearly breached quarantine. Did he give any reasons?
Yes, Cummings claims technically that he didn't breach the guidelines, and they were, of course, rather vague. Here is Boris Johnson announcing those measures when they came in.
Stay at home. Stay at home, folks. You must stay at home.
So, 2 very confusing words, Charlie. I'm sure you'd agree. Stay home, and what could they possibly mean? And there's always loopholes as well. I mean, it didn't say at whose home or how long you had to stay there. Us idiots in the general public assumed it meant until told otherwise, not 5 minutes more should do it. More fool us.
For now, Andy, Boris Johnson seems to be standing by Cummings, yes?
Well, not standing by him, Charlie, standing behind him and using him as a human shield. Cummings is deflecting attention away from the fact that throughout this crisis, Johnson has been floundering around like a lactose-intolerant arachnophobe who's forgotten his safe word at a cheese and spiders fetish party. No judgment, we've all been there, of course.
Yeah, of course. Now, given the huge personal toll that the virus and the lockdown have had on Britons, how do people there feel about Cummings?
Well, I mean, we Brits famously love democracy, and so we love Dominic Cummings because he is everything we voted for at last December's general election. We, the British people, voted for a minimum competence, zero ethic, truth-averse government, and for once, Charlie, for once, we are getting exactly what we requested at the ballot box. Rule Britannia, Charlie. Rule Britannia. You lot are welcome back in Club Britain anytime.
Well, and you are welcome back on The Weekly anytime. Andy Zaltzman from London, thank you.
Pleasure.